Hey guys, DanHeilman here. I am back with another Awaken Chaos Era video. Today I want to talk about gear sets. I want to talk about which gear sets are good on which units. There are specific units that are really good in specific gear sets, and then I'll give you some general rules on, what sets to use on what types of units, etc. But first, let's just go look at the dungeons real quick. I'll go through the sets that are in the game and kind of just show you where to get them. You can obviously just look in here, but I just want to show you real quick and just go very quickly over it. So Tulpa, we have a life set, a defense set, and a rage set, which is a crit set. Defense set and the health set are great sets. They're good for support units. They're just generally useful because they're also two-piece sets, so they're easy to do. Rage set, I kind of look at as a beginner to mid-game set. A lot of people need this to be able to get to 100% crit rate in the early game because they don't have really good gear and they don't have really high leveled up gear. So a lot of people use this to get to 100% crit rate. I think in end game, you're probably going to want to use a set like Cursed set over this set because you can generally get to 100% crit rate pretty easily. Even with a crit damage ring, you just need some good substat rolls on your gear. Ash Magisteria, you got speed sets, which is obviously very good in PvP. Also, if you want to run attack boots on your units, you can run a two-piece raider set just to get your speed up high enough so you can go before the waves and before bosses, etc. Avarice set is not really that great of a set. I know some people rave about the Avarice set, but there is only 2 units in the entire game I would ever tell you to put an Avarice set on. So I will go over those in a minute. I guess I can just say it. It's Valeria and Hydrisia. They're the only 2 units I know of in the game that have 2 AoE abilities. Almost all of the time, you're going to want to use a Cursed set over an Avarice set, but for Hydrisia and Valeria, I would recommend this set here. Dragon Skull set. Most people don't realize, but taking less damage from critical strikes, most of the bosses in the game and PvE content do not generate critical strikes. I think Witch of the Wind or maybe Gemini Dragon, one of those two, they are allowed to crit, but most of the bosses cannot crit you. So this is kind of a PvP set. If you're going to do a tank meta, you want to put your units in this set and maximize their health, defense, resistance, etc. Okay, next one is Queen of Tides, my favorite dungeon. I think it has the 3 best sets in the game. Warrior set, it's a 2-piece set, so if you're running like a Cursed set, which I think is the best damage set in the entire game, 50% chance to basically use your skill 1 or your attack 1. So very awesome. It can only be triggered once per turn. But yeah, favorite set in the entire game. I love Cursed sets. I put it on all of my damage dealers. I put it on all of my poisoners, all my debuffers, anything like that that has anything on the A1 that's really useful. Even for general damage dealers, just a 50% chance to launch in another A1 is a great ability. I love the Warrior set for filling in with the Cursed set. And Revival set, just because I farm Queen so much, I have a lot of Revival sets. I put Revival sets on my support units, my healers, my buffers, all that stuff. Any supports, I use Revival set. Witch of the Wind, the hardest dungeon in the game. It's like wildly hard, along with the next one I can go through, but it's weird because these sets are just kind of okay. Raptor set's great for a debuffer as a 2-piece set. If you need some focus, you need kind of high focus for landing debuffs on the stage 12 bosses. So this is a good set. Assassin set, 50% chance to do a bonus 35% damage. I haven't done much testing on this set. This is probably another generally useful damage set for damage dealers. I'd love to put like my Zatlux in a 4-piece assassin set just to try it out. But yeah, I still think Cursed set overall is a little bit better for damage dealers. Faith set converts 50% of healing provided into a shield. I've never seen anyone use this set. I don't use this set. A lot of people don't farm this dungeon, so yeah, that's that. And finally, Gemini Dragon. This is another very hard dungeon. You need a pretty crazy team to beat stage 12, but there's some good sets in here. Guard set is probably one of the better sets in this dungeon. Very cool set. It's required on Nathalia, and it's just really good for keeping people alive. It's good for support units that you have, or if you're in PvP and you want to do a tank meta stuff, you'll probably run 1 guard set. Notice how it does say bonuses for multiple sets do not stack, so you basically want 2 guard pieces and that's it. Divine set, this character has a 30% chance to launch a counter attack with their basic attack. This is not bad. If you're getting hit a lot, then yeah, you get some counter attacks. So I still think Cursed set is better this one. Notice how this one does not say there's a limit to how many times you can do it in a turn. So there's very specific scenarios like this boss here, which hits like 655 times a turn, that this might be better than a cursed set, but otherwise cursed is usually better. Rebel set, attacks have a 20% chance to stun the enemy for 1 turn. Cool set, I don't see a lot of people using it. This would be useful in CC people like, let's say Tia, for example. Tia has a great CC. She's got freezes and slows, and giving her an additional chance to stun would be pretty useful. So I think this would be a cool set to someone like Tia or Mila, who is another freeze unit. Basically, this is good for people who have AoEs. It might even be interesting to run someone like Hydrisia in this set. Build Hydrisia not for damage, but just for CC. So build her with a lot of speed, a lot of focus, and a Rebel set might be kind of cool, because she puts out slows and with a chance to stun. That might be pretty cool there. Okay, that's all of the sets. Now let's move on to character specific sets, which units are really good with which sets. All right, so in general, I build most of my damage dealers with cursed sets. I think cursed set is the best damage dealer set in the entire game, especially for units who have special things on their A1. For example, Cyrus. Whenever she hits with her A1, she gets defense pierce up for 1 turn. So say she uses her ultimate, and then she procs an extra turn. Now she also has defense pierce up for the next turn. So that's super strong on her. I love Cyrus in a cursed set, along with basically all poisoners and most of the damage dealers. Gangello, a poisoner, again, he places poison on his A1. So cursed sets are great. You just use different cursed sets for poisoners because you care more about defense stats. And for damage dealers, obviously you care more about attack stats. So again, cursed set, my favorite set in the game, probably the best set in the game. Now, I will say it doesn't always work. For William, for example, he has this thing where he launches a joint attack. This will not work with a cursed set. So don't build William in a cursed set. I build my William in a revival set. As I said, I love support units in revival sets, mostly because I have so many different revival sets, because I farm Queen all the time. Okay, I already mentioned Athalia. We'll just talk about it real quick again. Shield set is pretty much required for her. It gives her a debuff at the start of the wave. So it says at the start of the battle, but this actually refreshes itself during the waves, okay? So if she kills 1 wave, she goes to the next wave, it will refresh for 3 turns. And that's super important because of her passive here. Basically, if she has a buff, she gets attack up and immunity, and that gives her 3 buffs, which means that she can hit 4 targets with all of her abilities. So basically required on her. There's some other specific people like Hakrin. His damage is based on defense for 1 of his attacks. This right here, damage scales with the character's defense. And he also has a trait that basically gives 20% of his defense to all of your team members. So he's really good in defense sets. Again, I have mine in a revival set just because I have that. But honestly, 6 pieces of defense set would probably be better. Yeah. Now, as I mentioned before, Hydrisia and Valeria are the only 2 units I would ever put in an Avarice set. I am currently building up an Avarice set for my Hydrisia. So I'm going to test that out for a little bit. I haven't really used my Hydrisia. I got her to level 60 as one of my very first level 60s. And endgame, I just really don't use her at all. So, yeah. Someone like Mila or Tia, who basically are known for CC, they have all this stuff with freezing and slowing and all that. You might want to build these in a Rebel set, which is a stun set. I feel like this would be really cool. I haven't really had a chance to try it out, but eventually I will get her. You can see I have her ascended 5 times already, so eventually I'll build this unit and test her out. But I think people like Tia and people like Milo would be really good in a stun set. Marion Shadowblood has an interesting kit where some of her stats actually help her. If you have her to her 2nd ascension, you can see this trigger chance scales with this character's speed. So she might be a unit that you could build really fast. If you had some really good speed sets that had really good damage stats on them, you could probably run her in 3 speed sets to get her quite quick, and that helps with her trigger chance, which is kind of cool. So that might be a cool set to run her in. I haven't built her up or done much testing on her, but she would probably be a good person for speed sets. Another person like Goobag. I have Goobag. Let me show you. He's got some crazy speed, and he can scale extra turns with speed. So you can see this, 1 bonus turn per 100 speed, plus 10 upon casting an ability, blah, blah, blah. Max 100 bonus speed. So Goobag will be really good in speed sets, obviously, because he's going to get those bonus turns. And if you have someone like Windstrax, that's another person who's really good in speed sets because she's usually your speed booster. So, you know, Windstrax, the little boosty girl, you know, aka Windex here. She's a great unit to have in all speed sets. So you can see I have mine built. 6 pieces of speed gear and speed main stat boots are really good for her. Other people like Rickard, you just want to build him with as much HP as possible. So you can see he has A tier health, and his ability here is just basically does 60% of this character's max health to all enemies. A really great unit. Another person I want to build but haven't had a chance to. You could put him in HP sets, or since you're building his health so high, you could also put him in a revival set because that, you know, it heals by a percentage of your max HP every turn. So a revival set would be really good for keeping him alive. So those are kind of how you do it. Okay, so I've gone through a bunch of units and I've showed you my logic. I think it should probably make sense to you guys now after going through these. Zatlux, for example, I mean, you can build him in whatever. I have him in a rage set with attack set. He doesn't get any special bonuses. I don't think a cursed set would be really that good for him because his ultimate clears all the waves and that's about it. He might be good in an assassin set, but yeah. Okay, so that's my logic. I've gone through a lot of people that I have, how I build them, how I recommend building them. I hope this was useful for you guys. This should help you guys kind of pick out your own sets. You know, I get so many people asking me, what set do you build this person? How do you build this person? How do you build this person? Blah, blah, blah. If you want to go to my spreadsheet, the link is always in the description. I have a little tab in here that's called gear sets. I will start putting some of my gear sets in here. So you can see this is the set I use on Zatlux. Here's his stats. Here's his equipment bonuses. And this shows all of the gear he has. So figure some people might want to see how my units are built. This is my Nathalia. I put some of my poisoners in here. If you go to this poison tab, actually, I do have my whole poison team in here. This was like the gear that I had when I beat 11, and this is the gear when I had when I first beat 12. My gear is better than this, but I just wanted to show like kind of like minimum stats and stuff. So if you want to look at some of how my units are built, go to the spreadsheet. I will add a couple more units in here in this gear sets one to kind of show you how I have built some of my own units. Okay, that's it for the video. It was a little bit of a long one, but I wanted to go through gear in depth. I wanted to show all the different stats and the sets I like and all of that good stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Go down there, smash the like button, sub to the channel if you're not already. Huge percentage of people are watching my videos every single day and are not subscribed to my channel. It really helps me out if you hit that sub button and click that notification bell if you want to be notified when my videos go live. Hope you guys enjoyed the content today. I thought it was a pretty good video. See you guys. Have a great one. Bye.